Welcome back to the A Plus U podcast, brought to you by Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union. I'm your host, Danielle.
And I'm your co-host, Amber.
Nick, why don't you introduce yourself to the podcast?
Yeah, thanks. So, excited to be here. I'm Nick Peterson, Vice President of Payments for Affinity Plus. So.
And everything else.
And everything else. A number of other, yeah. Those are in the little, that's, other duties as assigned. Yeah.
I think we all have that.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So, okay, you think about payments, like something you do every day, but don't necessarily think about. What are some ways, like what are all the different ways you can think of to pay?
Whatever populates on my phone.
So tap to pay.
Yeah. Saved. I just learned the thing where I can tap to pay with my phone. That was a whole new experience.
It's only been out for quite a few years now. I'm glad you're finally catching up.
I switched from a Samsung to an Apple phone, and I didn't even know. It just started like buzzing, and it was like, you can do this. I was like, yes, I can.
Yes, I can. So tap to pay. How other ways can you like pay just in general in your daily life? Pay your bills, pay anything.
With a card.
With a card?
Mm-hmm.
Bill pay?
Bill pay, yep.
Cash still. Cash is still around.
Cash?
Yeah.
What other ways are there to pay? Are there other ways to pay, Nick?
Oh, you still got checks out there. People are still writing checks, but it's getting fewer and fewer of those. But
it's true.
Yeah.
But are we?
Okay, we might not be here, but
but other people might be. Okay, but you said card, but there's debit cards and credit cards.
You can tap them. You can still insert them. You can still swipe some of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
automatic pay.
Who knew that? I mean, you do know because obviously you see the money just leaving your account. But there are so many ways.
Sometimes I don't look, Danielle. Better left unsaid.
But there are so many ways to pay. And Nick, you're in charge of all of them.
Quite a few of them, I am. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty fun business to be in. So.
Well, and there's other ways to pay that we still haven't even talked about, but we don't offer them here. So, yeah.
Wires?
We offer
wires.
those.
Well, I know we offer those. But I just all of a sudden I was like, oh, here's another one.
No, I was talking about like electronic currency.
Oh, sure.
Like crypto and some of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Those are out there.
Yep. They're coming though. So won't be long. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nick. So we didn't give you this beforehand. Best of luck. We have some credit card like fact or fiction. So you as the expert, let us know. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Don't be nervous. You're the expert. Okay. Carrying a balance improves your credit score.
It can. So we could say depends.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's already getting
we're already
in the gray area.
Yep. It's kind of a depends. So
Okay. So expand on that.
Keeping a balance and moderation to ultimately show that you can make the payments and have good payment history and so forth will help build your credit score up. But carry too much of a balance and you're going to start having your credit score go the other way or not make your payment. It's going to really make your credit score go the wrong direction. So
okay. Even small regular purchases paid off monthly build credit.
That can build credit. Yeah.
Yep. So that's a fact.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
I
gotta get this fact or fiction right.
I'm not trying. I'm not trying to trick you.
So many are depends. Yeah, it's gonna be
lots of gray area. Yeah. Okay. Missing one payment isn't a big deal.
False. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's even good when you guys agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Checking your own credit score lowers it.
False.
Depends on where you're checking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
correct.
how.
There's a lot of like on our website or in our online banking and so forth. Those the credit scores and stuff. When you say review, it doesn't hurt your credit at all.
See.
So, yeah.
I really want to make sure we zoom in on Amber's face when she goes, oh.
Some of these is like we're asking the question back.
My face talks louder than my words sometimes. Okay, Danielle, I'm working on it.
It's okay. Same. It's a lifelong skill.
Yeah. There's the leader who calls it facial transparency.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so last one. Credit cards are bad for your financial health.
False.
She beat me to it.
That's okay.
Well, it can help you build credit. It also builds, I mean, in those emergencies, you know, the rainy day scenarios where you have to come up with something, it really does, it can help you having that availability to you too. So they have purpose, maybe would be the
There you go.
piece, you know?
See,
So,
my games are not so bad.
Yeah.
They're educational.
Yeah.
And revolving debt is good for your score
Yeah.
because it's different than installment debt, like a car loan or a mortgage would be.
We're talking about credit cards. And I think, Nick, like one of the things that we want to talk about is like credit cards in general. We have a couple different options, but there's just a lot of misinformation around credit cards in general. So can you kind of go through like what we have as a credit union and then like how they're maybe a little bit different from mainstream credit cards?
For sure. So there's really kind of two big categories of cards. So you have your rewards cards and your non-rewards cards, and they kind of they can both can be attractive to, I mean, pretty much anyone, but with maybe different purposes for them. So from a non-rewards perspective, typically they're going to be lower rate. So our card here would be a lower rate than the rewards card, but there's really no frills to it. It's, you know, something that is good for the person maybe starting out, kind of trying to build credit as we, you know, look at that. Sometimes the younger group that's really new to credit and trying to do that. Maybe some that are trying to rebuild credit as well. And it really doesn't have a lot of the frills with it of, again, we're getting reward points, things like that for transactions. If you're maybe a revolver, one that does need to carry a balance or so forth, obviously that lower interest can, you know, really help there as well. And then from a rewards perspective, that's really where it's given, you know, providing the rewards for the transaction activity that you're doing. So if you're somebody that does, you know, pay off their balance every month and utilizes it maybe for everyday spend, and then, you know, a budgeting tool, you know, a number of different ways that people use them. It's a way to kind of get a return back to it and reward points that can then be used in our case for a number of different reasons, whether it's cash back to travel to gift cards and a number of different pieces there. But yeah, it's there, you know, there's other benefits to cards. You know, in our scenario, we don't have foreign fees. So if you do travel internationally and so forth, great for, you know, I have a college, a daughter that's in college, so it's great for that if she's studying abroad. She's not, you know, getting a 1% fee on top of the transaction that she's doing as well. So there's some added benefits to cards that aren't just simply rewards, non-rewards. But, you know, each card is different. In our scenario, we try to keep the products pretty simple, easy to understand, you know, low rate as well, affordable payments. So a number of different pieces.
So how would you compare? So like, I think we all can probably name 2 or 3 like mainstream rewards credit cards. So how would you say just to like understand a little bit better, that reward credit card to like our reward credit card? Is there a big difference?
Yeah, there are differences in them for, you know, products out there that are, you know, other reward cards, non-reward cards out there. Kind of maybe some of the mainstream brands that we're familiar with may kind of what's called co-branding with an issuer where the rewards are generally around that brand. So if it's an airline card, which is pretty big in this market, being in Minneapolis, you know, if it's that brand, it most of the time those points can only be used, you know, at that brand as well. Same with hotel chains, things like that. There's some different reward cards out there that are, you know, kind of marry up to those individual brands. With our card, we look at it from really the general purpose perspective. We want you, the card holder, to have kind of the flexibility to choose the reward that you want for that. So some people value cash back, some people value travel and save their points so they can go on kind of that free trip as well.
Or some people want to be able to do a trip this year and cash back next year.
Trip this year, cash back next year. Gift cards are a great one. We actually see a huge spike over the holidays that they use it for Christmas, you know, and so forth.
But that's really smart if you can manage it appropriately.
If you can manage it appropriately is the big piece with that, you know. And I think, you know, from, you know, in comparison maybe to, you know, others out there, you know, our cards don't have the annual fee. Some of those, it's really kind of got to be careful on kind of saying, hey, this card has some really rich rewards, but there's an annual fee maybe to it, and really kind of evaluating that to say, is that, you know, worth maybe the rewards that you're getting? While we look at it saying we want to make our card affordable, we want it to be available to the most of the most, and, you know, with that we've chosen, you know, no annual fee, an affordable payment option, you know, things like that, as well as benefits that can be attractive to kind of the everyday spender. So
So I guess really what I'm hearing you say is there's, from a rewards perspective, there's not a huge difference in terms of, of like level of rewards, or like our cards offer basically the same rewards as like a general rewards credit card. But there are some benefits, like because we're a credit union and we're the issuer.
Yeah, I think maybe to take a step back on that, our rewards, each credit card is a little bit different. So I can't say that our card is like everyone else's, because I would say it definitely has some differences there. And it's really the package deal of it. So it's really looking at it saying, as I said, the no annual fee, but it is the general rewards, that it isn't, heavy on a specific purchase. So some reward programs out there are, if you use it at a restaurant, you get more points than not. We bring it to say, use the card how you want to use it. And with it, we're going to reward you the same, across the board with that. And then with it, it's balancing that. Again, it's really just looking at it from that, saying the no annual fee, the competitive rate, and our rates are typically lower than some of the other ones that we could all probably think of out there. And with it, again, it's that balanced, approach. There may be a card out there that you like this one specific reward. But again, it's that package look, and that's the way we've done that, where we haven't said we want one rich reward, but then, kind of charge you on the other side for that through a fee or through higher interest and whatnot with that. So,
well, and I think it goes back to like even what the financial coaches have shared is like, what do you value? And it's finding like what do you find value in when you're looking for a credit card? Because a store card could give you different value, and my value on a specific store is going to be different than your value. Same thing with the different options of credit cards, whether here or elsewhere.
Correct. Yeah. So.
I don't like to commit to things, so I love the idea of flexibility.
Flexibility is good, So, yeah. Well, and you think about that, with some of these brands, out there too, that, that we've all had, I'm not going to say I've only ever had an Affinity Plus card, but, in having other, cards out there, the brands can shift too, right? You've seen brands, some brands go away, and with that, kind of the value of those points as well. In the travel world, we've seen airlines leave markets as well. So things that used to bring you value that you felt you had value of, or you had value in, and you still may, the value kind of goes down maybe if some of those changes happen as well. So it really is about, again, flexibility, ease of use, and saying what is important to you now, and, give you the opportunity to use that product for that. And then next year, as you said, it might be something completely different that you're going to value. Maybe it is your Christmas shopping next year you want to use those points for, or again, I always enjoy saving mine for a trip because it does feel like it's free. Yeah. Which is pretty fun to do. So
love that. Yeah. Love a free trip.
Yeah.
I used mine for a trip once. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the
was
best.
that a Vegas trip maybe or something?
No, this one was Mexico.
Oh,
but,
okay.
May or may not have recently gone to Vegas.
I think, Amber, do you have a second home in Vegas?
At one time I will.
So I think something that's always on the top of people's minds is like fraud or security when it comes to paying or using a card or getting cash, all of that. So can you just talk a little bit about like how to use your cards in a safe way and how to kind of keep yourself safe when making payments every day, I guess?
Oh yeah, for sure. So there's, really a few things. So one, just the product type in general. So, in our scenario with our debit and credit cards, we have, chips on the card. So I think a lot of people probably have those, or most nowadays, specifically in kind of the major brand cards out there. And, with that, you can either, dip the cards in the machines for those that still, accept the dipping. And then there's the tapping, which is probably the newest of the use of those chips. Ironically, some of the larger retailers still don't have tapping, but if you've ever done it,
I can think of one right now.
I can too. I can too. And but if you've ever tapped, it's significantly faster, better experience as well. But really, I'm utilizing those versus there's just security around that, and that you're not carrying cash. You still are accessing your funds. By utilizing that chip on the card, whether you're tapping or dipping it, it's securing the transaction data. People are always like, well, my information's it's out there, or years ago, quite a few years ago, if people remember, there was a very large retailer in this market that had some of that data compromised. And really the chips is what combats that now, where those retailers can no longer, hold onto that data. The data is actually never transmitted. It's just encrypted from, really the one point to the next. But from the overall security of, that card payment versus cash, if you lose cash, you're out, right? There's really gone. You're not getting it back. If you lose your card, there's protections in place. For one, you can close the card or block the card or do those things.
And you can do that in the app.
You can do it in the app. And I have a story about that. My daughter, we were down in Orlando for a dance competition in July, and now you want to talk hot. It was hot and muggy. It was pretty disgusting down there in July. But she called me. I went up to the hotel room and she was running around with her friends and whatnot. And she called me at like 11 o'clock that night. And I'm like, gosh, when your daughter calls, your 17-year-old calls you at 11 o'clock, you're like, okay, what's going on? And she's crying, and I'm like, oh no. Crud, what's going on? And she's like, Dad, I lost my purse. And, and she's like, I already went online and blocked my debit card, but I had a gift cards in there and some cash and whatever else. I'm like, not a big deal. Your driver's license is probably the most important thing on that. You'd already blocked the card. You're good there. I'm like, I'll come down and we'll just go searching for it and whatnot. We ended up finding it the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody had turned it in, not to security though. And had turned it in, and they kind of tracked her down the next day, and were able to get it back. But she was able to then unfreeze her card, which was talk about, for a 17-year-old, I'm like, that's pretty responsible to be able to do that. But it's simple to do, right? It's freeze, unfreeze. You can do it to really protect yourself in a scenario of a lost card. But say if, something does happen where you do have fraud on the account, you're protected that way as well, where unauthorized transactions, you have the ability to dispute those. You have the ability to get those funds back in most cases, specifically around fraud and really almost all cases. And it's a way, again, to protect your funds that, say, if it was a cash that was, stolen, there's really no mechanism to get that money back. With the debit card or a credit card, doing those transactions through that, there's a mechanism to be able to get your money back in the instance that fraud does happen. Fraud as a whole is a very small it happens, but it's not something that's as a regular occurrence. And in many scenarios, you'll never experience fraud in your entire life of transacting, and so forth. I'm 46 years old and I've never, experienced fraud on any of my products, but I do have monitoring. I have alerts on my accounts. I have used the freeze, unfreeze because I have been known to maybe keep a tab open somewhere and leave and forget about it. And just want to make sure that, before I go pick that card back up, that nobody else is going to use it as well. So, yeah.
But I think that that's really interesting that you say, because I think most people think fraud happens, and it does, like every day, all the time.
Sure.
And that's like top of mind all the time. But for you to say, like, I've never experienced fraud.
Correct.
And it's not like really the norm.
Correct. It's not the norm. You really look at it and say, if we even, we measure, fraud and, all of those other pieces, it's about 7 in 1,000 people that it would actually happen to, and you start looking at it from that perspective, it's a very small.
So if you're thinking about fraud and how it occurs, what would be one of the ways that fraud can happen?
Yeah. So, in some form or another, someone could get your card information. Specifically, we see things like skimming, whether it's at a fuel dispenser or an ATM where you're swiping your card. You're not utilizing the chip in that scenario. And with it, they're getting your card information. The fraudster, doesn't have anything better to do and gets your card information and then utilizes that to, access your account and gain your funds out of it. Again, luckily, there's mechanisms that we have to is still even prevented from we monitor your transaction activity and say, this isn't something that Amber's done or Danielle's done before. This is kind of weird. Maybe we shouldn't authorize this transaction.
I've gotten a few of those calls.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's you? Yes, it is.
Amber's spending patterns are really odd, so she gets those calls a lot.
So they're always a little confused.
Yeah, we have hers on speed dial here,
honestly.
But no. It's funny though because they're kind of annoying calls sometimes, right? It is annoying when you're using yours. Yeah, and they used to be a lot more frequent, where we were calling a lot more members. This transaction activity doesn't look like yours. Is it? And members are like, yes, it is. So we started looking at kind of honing those rules in to really start, learning more of our member spending patterns and adjusting the rules in accordance to that to really decrease the number of calls that were for legitimate transactions. I think the step up for the game there was really we put text alerts in. So the text alerts is cool because it's two-way texting that says, hey, if you've enrolled your mobile device in it or your phone number in it, instead of Amber getting the phone call, and if you're like me, I don't know if you're like me, but I do not answer any phone calls if I do not recognize the number.
Note to self, send my number to Nick so he knows it's me.
Exactly.
I answer every phone number I don't recognize.
Oh, I do not. It's and with it, but with the text message, I read every text message, and with it, you can instantly respond with a yes or a no if it's yours or not yours. And if it's yours, then they just move on, and it kind of factors that into your next transaction and the next one to say, say if Amber was on her trip to Las Vegas, it's going to be like, Amber, you were just in Minneapolis. Like, why are you in Las Vegas right now? And in that scenario, if she said yes to this transaction, if they thought it was a little weird, now the algorithm works and says, well, we know Amber's in Las Vegas now. So we're not going to keep flagging each transaction after that. So she can spend away at that point.
So let's pause on that though, because you were talking about the text messages and the calls. And that's another thing I think the general population is a little weary of, right? Like, is this really Affinity Plus, or is this really insert financial here contacting me, or is it a spoof? And I'll be completely honest, I have no idea if I've enrolled in text messages. Very likely have I, yes, but I don't remember checking that box. And so what is something that if I get a text message, I should just if I quick pause, what is going to differentiate our text message alert to some type of scam text message?
Yeah, that one can be a little tricky from the perspective the fraudsters are getting really pretty savvy in how they try to pretend they're your financial institution, your credit card company, whoever it may be. The biggest thing I'd say is what information are you kind of giving up in that, and how you do that. If they're asking you for your card number or your CVV, which is that 3-digit code on the back of the card, which only you have, nobody else has that, nobody else knows what that number is. And if they're asking for things that they should know, meaning your credit card company should know, I would probably maybe second guess that and maybe look up and call your financial institution directly and call us directly. Hopefully you're doing your banking with us, but it's something, it is difficult to find out, is this really Affinity Plus reaching out, or isn't this? If it's the security code, right? When you log in, to, online applications where it's going to send you a text with your security code that you need to enter in. It's like, well, your financial institution's not going to ask for that over the phone. They're not going to be like, hey, we're going to send this to you. Will you give it, it to me? So I think that's the thing, it's, kind of, if you're going through it and just being the light of day test, maybe a little bit to it would be why is my financial institution calling me and then asking me for my card number, or calling me and asking me for my 6-digit number or my social security number, or any of those things. It's well, they're the ones calling me. I'm not calling them. So I think there's, a big piece is if you are in doubt with it, you do pick up the phone and call the financial institution directly to say, did I, send this? I actually had an Amazon email come through today that said your refund didn't go through, click here, and I'm like, well, I didn't ask for a refund. So I'm guessing
I had one
someone
come in for my other financials account, and I was like, I don't have an account there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, it's just,
no, thanks.
I mean, it's hard
Exactly.
because sometimes it's super obvious.
Yeah.
I don't have an account with you. Goodbye. But other times you're like,
or it makes you question, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, did somebody open an account
yes.
up with them? So there's always that. And I think it's good to have that feeling though, always, because it makes you sure you're checking yourself a little bit on okay, I'm having my guard up a little bit with this instead of just instantly responding and, not really kind of thinking through it. And people have done that, right? They, don't, think through it. They maybe, click on the link, or they respond quickly, or they provide information that maybe they didn't need to. If you have those instances happen, promptly or, quickly pick up the phone and call us, or your financial institution or whoever may be involved in that, and let them know what you did. Don't be embarrassed about it. Don't,
Well,
hold
that's
back.
the safest way to protect yourself
Correct.
is like right away. I mean, really call your financial and just say like, this happened. I need to make sure nothing else happens.
Right.
So many people get embarrassed, and
Yeah.
it's like, don't, like, people do it. It happens all the time, and it's like, you're
It
not
happens to
alone.
us.
And
We click on wrong emails.
I
We've had
clicked on a
senior
social
leaders
media. I
click on-
clicked on a social media ad once, and it was, it was not. It was not. It ended up. It was this really cool thing I was gonna have for. I live near the river, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great for my kids, and it was like this battery operated like thing that would tow them around in the water. It came and it was like just to blow up inner tube.
Yep.
We've all fallen for those things. So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think that's where it's just owning if a mistake was made and calling and recognizing we won't judge you if that does happen, because we work with our members every single day and mistakes happen. And
we've seen it all. Like,
Yes.
there's nothing new.
There's literally nothing we
there's
have
nothing
not seen.
new.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to protect you just as much as you want to protect yourself.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It was learning and growing, and you have to embrace technology. And that's
Mhm.
where like our cards have morphed so much, even in because you've been here how long, Nick?
27 years.
Yeah. And I've
Yeah.
been here 16, and in my 16 years, cards has changed like night and day. So,
Did you think?
Yeah, I mean, when we were, when I started, ATM cards were the prominent,
Yeah.
piece. Debit cards were really not mainstream by any means at that
Mm-mm.
point. Credit cards back then was still the old, you had to put the credit card in there with the,
Yeah.
carbon paper and
Uh-huh.
do it that way. So it was really still cash check, were
Mhm.
the big ones. It was, 3/4 of our members had ATM cards, and they could only be used to access cash out of the ATM. And debit cards weren't really a thing. Credit cards, again, were, but it was the old school piece, maybe not the different fraud prevention,
Mhm.
mechanisms within it as well. So a lot of stuff. And now with the digital payments coming up, when it comes to, Apple Pay's become very mainstream, something that probably the younger generation in particular has, it's expected.
Do you think there'll be a time when cards are only digital? Cards?
Well, I think they're moving that way, right now with,
Mhm.
again, with that kind of that generation coming up. If they don't have Apple Pay or the ability to use Apple Pay, there is some general annoyance.
Mhm.
As I said, I have a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old, and both of them, it's an expected piece. Now, they still carry their debit card with them because it's not accepted everywhere.
Mhm.
I think acceptance is really going to be that big thing. I think when it comes to mobile payments as a whole, like when you do like in-app purchases, right?
Mhm.
You look at, checking out and being able to check out with Apple Pay is a pretty
So
seamless, easy experience.
Yes,
And what's-
it is.
yeah.
I will
Game
say-
changer.
Well, your data, what's nice about it is your data's, it's not being transferred to them. So it's not, nobody's storing it. So if you're going to Chipotle or you're going to Subway or you're going wherever you are and you're checking out, they're not getting your card data. They're
Mhm.
getting that it was authorized, but it's still through Apple Pay authorized, not through your card in general. So it's just another protection
Interesting.
mechanism for your card information, so it's not kind of out there in the, on somebody else's system.
The only reason I carry a wallet around is my driver's license, because I can't have that digitally. And that's not even that's different state to state. There are states where you can have your driver's
Picture, yeah.
license in
Mhm.
your digital wallet. And so
Mhm.
you physically don't have to carry like a wallet or cards around. Hot tip.
Yeah,
I have a lot of cards. In my
we're not in a
wallet.
state that has that yet.
No,
so.
no, we're not. But that's what I mean. That's the only reason sometimes I
Yeah.
have to carry my wallet around.
Yeah.
Like if I'm running to the store, like I know the grocery store I go to or whatever takes tap to pay.
Yep.
So, but I have to grab my purse and my wallet because my driver's license is in it.
We're gonna get you one of those sticky wallets and
Yeah.
put on the back. of
Right
your
on the
wallet.
back. Yeah.
I know, but then it like
But then you can't use the magnet thing.
Yeah.
In
Well,
the car.
that, and then, it's like bulging in my pocket and I'm already a woman and I don't have enough pockets and, that whole thing. I know.
can make fun of my mom again.
No, your poor mom.
I know.
Is your mom the butt of the joke sometimes in this? Yeah.
Yes.
Your mom's famous.
Oh my gosh, she doesn't even know it all. Her smoking cigarettes
Yeah.
And paying bills.
and drinking coffee. She has her wallet is her phone, and she carries that everywhere. And I'm like, Mom, you are like the walking, like, I am concerned about your fraud. Like
She's got
you
everything.
You are going to be taken advantage
And then
of.
they went to take a call and they got to open their wallet up.
And their wallet is
and they're
sticking
holding
out.
it.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I can take the phone out of the holder. I was like, Mom, what are you doing? It's like you're starting to become elderly.
Oh no.
Well, at least she's not putting her cards like in her cigarette case, and
Oh my
whatnot.
God,
And
no.
then utilizing that as her wallet. So
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
give her time.
Gosh. Be like my aunt with her cigarette and the coin purse attached. You
Oh,
remember
yeah.
those?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that
That's
was
okay.
the big thing. Yeah, you did that, and then they snapped on the top, and then the thing.
The coins.
Yeah, my grandma and great grandma had those. So yeah.
Or holding the lighter and the matches. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So cool. I've grown up in bars. That's all that
Yeah.
we've established. in
You know what?
that.
Not surprising, Amber.
Yeah. I'm from Wisconsin. It was a given.
Oh, good man.
Yeah.
Okay. Or like speaking of cards, Nick, we are welcoming a bunch of new card holders.
We
to
are.
Affinity Plus.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a merger going on with a City and County Employees Federal Credit Union out of Albert Lee, Minnesota. Really excited about it. And the number of card holders there, but just a number of members. And I've spent a lot of time down there in the last several months. A lot of really awesome members going to be joining Affinity Plus here. We're excited to have them. We have members down in the Albert Lee community already. So they've been using the branch, which is cool. We have a branch right on Main Street. And we'll have a new branch coming in 2026 that we will be building. We'll be breaking ground here shortly. So I would say it's going to be for sure before snow flies here. So
That's
which will be exciting. So yeah.
And
Because in case you didn't know, Nick is also in charge of facilities.
Yeah.
other duties as assigned.
Other duties
Yep.
and assigned. Yeah.
Mhm.
Facilities mergers. So it's it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of, again, really great employees down there. Great.
Yeah, all the employees came over and they've all joined us and the members are all joining us.
Yeah, they are. So we have all 5 employees that were down there are joining us. Their manager has been here for 20 years. Been with City County Employees Federal Credit Union for 20 years. It's a really a lot to say. I want to say
It's a big
CCEFCU.
name.
Yeah,
It is a big name.
Yeah. So all employees at the credit union are coming and joining Affinity Plus, which has been great. They've been actively training. Several of them are already been able to work with some Affinity Plus members, as well as the city and county members, and working with bringing those over as well. It's a great thing for both our members and for the city county employees members. We'll have about 2,300 members down in the Albert Lee community, which is pretty cool. So be a decent sized branch right from day one. So.
Well, because I think those existing members, the closest branch was Rochester.
And Faribault, maybe.
Faribault.
Faribault.
Mankato, kind of depending on where they were
Mhm.
at. So you
Yeah.
kind of had Rochester, you had Faribault, you had Mankato were kind of the ones. They're all kind of within that 45 minutes to an hour away from Albert Lee. So
Mhm.
it'll be our furthest south branch. Albert Lee is a community we've been wanting to expand into, knowing we already had members there. So the merger just made sense, really, for both institutions. So it's really,
Awesome.
pretty exciting. So.
Very
Mhm.
exciting.
So October 1st will be that date, and like a light switch, you just kind of flip the switch
is.
dark one night and turn as the
It
city
is.
and county employee
Yeah.
federal credit union turns off, and the next day you turn it on to
About
Affinity
3
Plus.
p.m., City County Employees FCU will, the systems will be, the switches will be flipped, and the next morning at 9 a.m., they'll officially be Affinity Plus.
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. We
Now we're
open
getting into-
early in Albert Lee.
Oh, it is 8 a.m. Yeah. I'm padding it an hour just in case. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We can do 9
Under
a.m.
promise, over deliver.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
right?
there you go. We just need a little extra time to turn the light switch
exactly.
back on.
Yeah. It's a dimmer switch.
Yes, there you go. Well, is there anything we missed?
I don't think so.
Nick, any last tips and tricks on payments or security surrounding cards and account security, maybe?
Well, Yeah, I think, we've covered a lot today. I think the, biggest thing is to not be afraid to use your card. It is one of your most secure, payment devices, whether it's your card through your mobile device or your physical card itself.
Well, Nick, we really appreciate you being here today in all of your areas of expertise, facilities, payments, mergers. You're jack of all trades.
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening so much. To get more information on Affinity Plus, make sure you check us out at affinityplus.org and subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll catch you on the next episode of A+U. Affinity Plus is federally insured by the NCUA.